Okay, boys, so it finally has happened. The air suspension has quit, and it's due to the control module that has actually failed. And because only the dealership has full access to repair, calibration, and all that, I'm deleting their system in a way. I'm actually converting the onboard hardware to be fully controllable manually with switches. So what's gonna happen is I'm going to have control of the compressor, the reserve, and atmosphere basically, which means that I can charge the reservoir and I can run the compressor on basically nothing so that it can warm up. Because here's the thing, and I didn't really realize that at first, but if you just power the compressor, the air compressor itself, it will, well, basically blow up. It won't, but it might, because it's actually closed. What has to happen is there's two onboard solenoids integrated into this compressor, and one of which has to be on so that the air can actually leave the housing. And in this case, we have, see, there's the 3-wire connection here for the solenoids. The red one is 12 volt, then the black one, switched ground, is for the pressure side. So this is usually run to the control valve. And then the brown one runs the reservoir, which is this connection. So here's a nice little close-up. For those of you that might find this interesting or useful. And of course we have the air intake here. And this is the original valve that I've replaced in the past because I thought it was bad, but it wasn't. So I bought a Chinese one, which actually happens to be better because it had some brass inserts, which I liked better. So I stuck with it. And I used this one to be, the one that I used to figure out how the pin locations are, or what the pin locations are. And it's as follows. As you can tell, there is a flat basically here. It's rounded there. That's represented by my hand scribble there. Here's the valve again. This happened in the middle of the night, so it's not pretty, but it's functional. So port A, B, C, D, E, F is how I labeled it. And port A is always open. So this is not controlled. All of these valves are openly connected to this. So if this was activated, air would run from there, from there, from there, or from actually air comes from here and runs out. Okay, so here's how that works. Pin number 5, and I labeled this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Just the way I like it. So pin number 5, that one there, is the 12 volt in. That arms this thing. And then when you apply a ground to any of these, you get a switched solenoid, or all of them if you choose to do so. And here's how it works. So port A doesn't matter. Port B is pin 4, port C is 8, D is 2, E is 1, and F is 3 in this case. So again, I labeled it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So again, here is that, if you need it a little closer. And then of course, on my 2015 Ram 1500, this is how these ports work. This is basically the wheels, that's the blow off or out, and that's pressure. And to be specific, port B, pin 4, is rear right, C is left front, D was the out, E is the rear front, or right front, front rear, front right, Jesus. And F is left rear. So right rear, left front, right front. Okay, so that's how this works. What was originally the problem is actually the airbags in the back. Of course, the most common problem on this system is the rear airbags go out, and I can go into a lengthy description what happens in a different video, but essentially the computer tries through this valve to compensate for the leak, and it just doesn't work. It can't catch up, so it gets confused. And here is what we are underneath now. Okay, compressor's removed. There's the other valve, which I still have hooked up, and I've already cut the wires here. So the truck is disabled, and here's my pinout. So I'm using the old plug, and I'll be manually wiring this all in. Plus I will be adding to this, what is the air intake, I will be adding a canister type air dryer just to help along with it. I have a big version which I use for my plasma cutter. So it's this, which is of course huge, but there are some smaller versions as well. There are some versions with this style and you just put a granulate in. I haven't decided yet. I think I like the granulate better because it's indefinitely reusable. So great for the environment. So what's so special about this compressor, by the way? Yeah, you have to switch these valves in order to make it work. So with it installed, the module, the control module in the truck would run these solenoids, and the compressor will do a couple different things. Either it will just build pressure and send it into the reservoir or into the valve, or it will take the air pressure from the reservoir, just send it through and into the valve to run the suspension. It's actually, I love the air suspension. I hated the idea of getting rid of it, and even with the aftermarket system here in Canada, you pay about $3,000 for one, and I have all this shit in here. I have compressor, I have control valve and everything, but you have to install and so anyways, rewire it, run an ugly system on the inside of the cab, and I'll even have a pressure gauge. So this is actually my pressure. I should point that out. This is an AC line, AC tool hose, I guess you would say, from my old AC tester. So these are high pressure and they're nice and thin. So I just have that on the service valve, because the service valves are an AC fitting, which is the blue line. Yeah, and that fits really well. So that is always connected. I just gonna have to extend it with a hose that goes somewhere to the front so that I can read the air pressure from the cabin. Physical is always better than a digital thing. So that's the addition. So I'll see if I can, there you go. You can see it there, the blue thing. It's just connected to the service valve, because what I had to do is I actually have this in the back. The last month I had to run a compressor, my generator with a compressor to fill this thing up, because the truck was being temperamental. So yeah, this is the hookup to that service valve. As you can see, there's now no pressure in there, and I was able to charge this externally. By the way, piece of information that might be interesting for you to know: operating pressures. The Dodge operating pressure with the system filled, according to their description, is 175 psi, which is at basically wheels. They have whatever. Put 175 psi in at normal ride height isn't gonna get you to the maximum ride height reliably, but it is definitely sufficient. The system can run 200, but I wouldn't go past that. So between 150 and 175 psi is the operating range of this suspension at normal ride height. That's where I would put it.